trail that I can't follow. I'll break free and go with you tomorrow. For your love is air that I should swallow. Where for us, the past is ours to swallow. We're just three worlds apart. Though your eyes fill my heart. Three worlds away from the sun. Call my name and I'll come.
This would be like somewhere between the short term and the long term, is that like we have a lot of material that we've written and we've worked a lot on our live show, because that for us is one of the bigger things, because for us in terms of exposure and building a following, the live shows for us are really, really big right now, and they're kind of bolstered by the tracks that people who see us, they can go check the music out and follow us that way. But I think for all of us, what we all are kind of working towards is playing a lot of shows so that we can eventually get to a point where our music that we put out will become this like bigger thing. Like I think we'd all really love to be able to just go into the studio and like take a long time, you know, like to spend 6 months just recording an album and being like, this is this big recorded work that we really want to get behind. And right now, it's a little bit more. We're super behind everything, but we're all obviously behind everything that we put out. But I think being able to do something on a bigger scale in terms of, I think, an album would just be really cool for us. And we're working towards just getting the following and getting it to a point where it makes sense for us to do that, where there'll be an audience that's ready to hear it.
So the Politix used to be the three of you minus Johnny, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Plus two. So what fostered that transition, and how did you meet Johnny?
Well, the transition began sort of 2.5 years ago, and
not quite, no, because
2 years ago.
Wani was about a year ago, and then it was about 6 months.
2 years ago, because we had
less than two though.
Chrism.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, so I mean, basically, you know, we were in this band with like when I started the band in the first sense of the word with our first MC, John Payne, a great rapper and a good friend, and then it was like Jason. We just kind of pieced it together, and after just a little while, it just seemed like time to kind of like move on. And the bass player at the time, he was kind of had his own project going on that he wanted to pursue, and there were some issues. Obviously, like bands have issues, and so there was sort of like a split, I guess you could say, with John and us, and we just felt like we had to go in different directions, and so we started working with this guy named Christian King, who's another incredibly talented, you know, rapper, and then that just didn't work out, you know, and sometimes that's just how it is, like things just don't work out, and after that we were like, you know, we're done with the hip hop thing, and we were playing around, you know, all of us play in other groups and do all kinds of stuff, and Johnny had been around, and I'd started running into Johnny, like I'd be at gigs. The first time I saw Johnny, I was playing at, oh man, what's that place I hate playing at, right next to Cork? We maybe shouldn't say it out loud.
Oh, well, it doesn't, it's actually, it's no longer open.
Okay. Can we say
I guess we won't say it anyway.
Pass that and just finish this. I ran into him, and like I didn't even know who he was, but he was setting up to do like an acoustic set. I was playing like a jazz gig. But then I think we just saw him with
Titanic, man.
Titanic at Roosevelt.
Yeah, the first time I saw Johnny was that we do this. They had this Titanic jam over here at UM, you know, and Johnny would come in with your brother Earl.
Yeah, Vel. Me and Earl.
You and Vel. Oh, Vel would do it there.
Vel
That's
had
right.
a jam at Bardot.
Oh,
Yeah, with
that
the-
Bardot, that's
like a
Bardot.
year and a
Wait,
half.
no way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to play at Bardot?
Yeah,
He used to sing
we
at
had it for
Bardot.
like a year and a half, and like I think that was like the main place because he would do a show and I would come in and do like maybe 2 songs, and so that was I guess me being introduced to the Miami scene. Previous to that, I was in Philly. I went to school in Philly. I lived up there for a while, and then the ad stuff. I went to school for theater. Was doing that. Decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to pursue music, and I knew my family was big in music, so I decided to move home and work on that. And then this is exactly what I wanted to happen. Like my best friend up there is Steve Galunas. He actually was the main one that was like, dude, I could see it in you. I could see what's in your heart. You need to come home. You need to go home. You need to get with your family and then see what happens. So, I mean, all of my dreams are coming true. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I think it's funny on the other end of it that he came home like that. But I remember it's funny how we all met him. We talked about those shows at Bardot. There was a period, it was, I don't know, like about a year ago, where whenever Roosevelt Collier, Johnny's cousin, was in town, he would play at Bardot like every week, and I would go like super wide-eyed and like check out Roosevelt and like freak out.
It was the coolest jam.
It was every Wednesday night. It was like a really.
It was a thing.
It was a thing. It was a really awesome time for the scene at that time.
Yeah.
There was just this great thing to check out.
He brings such
and that's
good
where we saw
energy.
Johnny, and there wasn't when I went there. I went to see him sing, but like we weren't looking for anybody to be in the band, so it was just this very like random kind of thing that happened where he was there, we saw him, and then all of a sudden
We're like,
we needed somebody, and we were like, all right, there it is. Like just kind of happened. There wasn't like an audition or it was nothing like that at all. It was just like.
I mean, before we got to this point, we were also doing a bunch of other projects like. Me and my brother do like the same little jam band thing that Velt used to do, and Nick was actually in that first show. And then also Aaron would invite me to do like we did this James Brown review.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
What else?
That was at Bardot.
That was at Bardot too.
The Magpie show. That was the big one.
Yeah. It's just a lot of different projects, kind of like how we're all working with different things now. That's how we started, and then
And we just like filtered into it.
one thing led to another.
Well, and I just wanted to say, like, because just talking about this whole like the history thing, going back and thinking about like, former members and transition. It's always hard, like, to go through stuff like that in terms of like, we didn't just change people and lose people and gain people. That happens in bands all the time. We changed. Well, frontman, that's big. And but also just the sound, we changed our sound, and people, were like at first like, "What, you're gonna do this now?"
Yeah.
And we never cared, and that's the thing about us, is I don't care, and because like we, all of us have had since we met each other have had this vision, and like we know what we want. We were thinking beyond ourselves, and just like our instrument, all of us write together, and we're idea people, and we come together, and we're best friends, and now with Johnny, all of us are like brothers, and the fact that, but the times even when Johnny was in the group, the three of us were the core in the sense of like, leadership and communication and then the writing, and the ideas. But you'd be surprised like how important it is to have that like communication, that brotherhood, if you're gonna really do this, because like anybody can tell you, like who's been in a band or is trying to be in a band or whatever, it's like the hardest thing ever. And we don't, we all are professional musicians. Like this is what we do for a living. I pay my rent with playing drums, but I don't, we don't, I'm not even allowed to say it. We don't take like cash out a lot from gigs, we try to put it right back into the band.
Right.
So that's a lot of cats don't do that, but we have that mindset, like we're gonna sacrifice for now because we have this bigger goal,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So I heard you guys throw around the term jam band a couple times, and whenever I have someone on my show, I always like to ask them this question. So please bear with me. How do you feel?
This is a big question.
How do you feel about the term jam band being classified as a jam band and what it means for the music community?
You might have four different
I don't know.
You might get some different answers on this one.
Yeah.
Unless we can go around if you want. What do you think about it, Johnny?
I mean, well, I come from a jam band
family.
You know what I'm saying? I was raised in church where it's a jam.
Yeah.
You know, like most churches' main instrument is like an organ or a piano. And our church, the main instrument was the pedal steel. You know what I'm saying? So that's where, you know, people like Robert Randolph,
Oh, wow.
Roosevelt Collier, I think R.B. Gent is another big name in the sacred steel community. That's where those people kind of got their chops, you know. And so for that matter, no matter what I do, it's always a jam. For me, jamming is like, you know, it compares to the Holy Spirit. You know, something that connects you together without having to think about it, without having to, you know, you're just in it, you know, you're just kind of like letting go and just kind of waving your hands in the air, and you're, you know, that's jam for me. So, you know.
I mean, yeah, so the band has a filter, you know, we all have different answers to that, but I'm pretty open. I mean, I don't care about the word. It's just a word. It's just a description of whatever. It's just a label that people, just like, you know, jazz music can be a label to things, and
Right.
you know,
Progressive jam.
or you know, it's a way to categorize something, and that's cool. So I mean, we did it for ourselves. We call ourselves Progressive Soul. You know what I mean? Because we
Yeah.
need to give people something, you know, to label us as. You
Well,
know?
and the jam band thing, I guess, can get confusing only in this.
Yeah.
Because, like, we're not like Fish.
Right, we're definitely
but,
not.
you know, we can open up our music. You know, it's like, I think we can fit into that world well because we play a lot of jam bands. Do this, like, play a lot of different styles
Right.
and
Right.
integrate sounds.
It's like a
And that's
fusion
not,
type of
right,
thing,
a fusion
right.
sound. So
Right.
that element we do have, where we can go from playing like a heavy rock, like Led Zeppelin thing, and then we can play like a neo soul track right back to back, and we can really do it. And
right.
but I think what's different about us than maybe the jam, what a lot of people think about a jam band, is that we are a song-based band. You know, we're really. But then you look at Tedeschi Trucks and all those people, and they're kind of
Right.
flip. They are a song band, and they're considered a top jam band.
Because they
so-
opened it up in concerts
Right.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
They're in
and
the
then
scene.
They let
they're
it
jam
flow a little
bands in
bit,
the
you know.
scene.
To me, the term, what I think about more than anything when I hear that is a certain style of music doesn't really come to
Yeah.
my head, because there's so many different. It's such a diverse thing, like what people consider a jam
Right.
band. It can sound like anything. But what I think about mainly is the audience, and I think that's a big thing that's drawn us into it,
Right.
because there's a lot of negative connotations with it. You know, like
Absolutely.
we really care a lot about like the songs we write. So being a jam band, being lumped in with that isn't really. We don't like that element of it. But the
Right.
thing, you know, we also we don't care, because those people are really great fans and they're super open-minded, and we've gone and played, and there's certain, you know, they're open to hearing what we got to do, and we're doing something a little bit different. And so I think, you know, that's why, as much as I would never tell anyone, yeah, this is a jam band, if somebody says, hey, do you want to be a part, like there's this festival where there's going to be a bunch of jam bands playing, like I would always love to go do it, because I
The audience is
can
great, yeah.
be pretty sure that the audience will be cool
Yeah.
and totally open,
Yeah.
and more so than kind of than most other groups of people, I
Right.
think, that are around music.
Exactly.
agree.
Festivals.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, guys. We're going to wrap up with one more song by the Politix. If you guys have any last comments or questions, you can send a text to 786-309-8861. Again, you're listening to WVUM. This is the Jam Band Show, speaking of jam bands, on The Swirl. Please keep it locked and enjoy.